but not for the reason you think. There are hundreds of accounts created every single day. Do you remember what was going through your head as you created your account? Were you dreaming of becoming the best someday? Or just because the game looked fun and you wanted to try it? I think it's rare that current top players created their OS accounts for the sole reason of becoming the best. Their first impression was likely a crazy play that piqued their curiosity, and they wanted to try the game for themselves. Over time, these players realized they had a natural aptitude and started dedicating more energy to perfect their craft. And the vast majority of these talented players never reached number 1. They had to settle for top 10, top 50, top 100, or lower. If their goal was to reach number 1, they failed. OS was a waste of time. However, that mentality neglects major components of gaming in general. These players gained so much more than a high rank in a video game, and they genuinely had fun playing to get to where they are now. Only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want more improvement videos, subscribe! It's free and you can always change your mind in the future. I can stop playing the pronoun game. Multiple players such as Xylice, Decaton, and more have commented about how much the game means to them, even if they never became the absolute best. I can corroborate their feelings. I've been playing this game for 7 years at this point, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm not remotely close to being the best, but the joy of seeing tangible improvement feels as uplifting as it did when I just started the game. As people start improving at OS and realize they have talent, they begin setting loftier goals. At first, it was enough to pass a 6-star map or get a 100 PP play. The numbers and expectations start growing. Now they want to set a 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 or higher PP play and FC harder and harder maps. It requires an exponential effort to make linear progress in this game, characterized by a staircase where every step is steeper than the last. Eventually, you're not going to accomplish one of those goals. Equating this to failure, as if you've wasted so much time pursuing this exponentially harder goal, is setting yourself up for a mixture of disappointment and depression. You never wasted your time. You just moved the goalposts so far away that your desires feel impossible to reach. Becoming the best at anything requires talent. Life isn't fair, and people are naturally better at activities than others, including OS. There are players who can stream 300 BPM and above. Other players have unbelievable control over their aim. It is undeniable that both subsets of players are incredibly talented. However, even they can, at some point, be randomly eclipsed by the next great. Let's take a step back into OS history for a moment and place ourselves at the beginning of 2018. You are Rafis, and recently took Shikator's position as the number 1 player, ending the longest consecutive reign to date. This is not the first time you've reached number 1, as you were battling HWIC225 for the position a couple years earlier. The title changed hands constantly, and you could never hold on to it for more than a week. However, now is different. Shikatora is disinterested in taking number 1 back, and there's a comfortable buffer between you and the players likely to compete with you. As long as you continue improving, you're likely going to stay number 1 for a long time. However, that perception is shattered when Mathi explodes onto the scene and has a meteoric rise to number 1 over the span of a couple months. He eventually takes your position in April, not even 3 months after you reached it. Is it over? Is everything you've ever accomplished irrelevant now? You can perceive it that way, but I would argue absolutely not. If I was placed in that position, instead of crying about it, I would be very moved by the fact other people are inspired to play the game and trying to take me down. I would fight for my position, not because I feel obligated to defend it, but because I have worthy competition that I have fun challenging myself against. According to the original argument, because these players are not currently number 1, all the time and effort they're dedicating to the game is a waste. That's simply untrue. They find the process of improving fun and are motivated to achieve their goal. This situation isn't exclusive to the number 1 position. You can shift this down to any rank range where 2 people have a difference in skill. Nevertheless, Players who have usurped number 1 or improved rapidly had to dedicate a significant amount of time for their talent to flourish. The existence of people who are better than you does not invalidate your experiences. You can replace the word better in that sentence with richer, hotter, taller, stronger, or any other characteristic. Dwelling on the unfairness of life doesn't help you become better at anything. Flipping the perspective, there's a good chance you are naturally better at something than someone else. You don't suck at everything you've ever done. There's likely a subject in school or task at work that came more naturally to you than your peers. They might feel dejected about their skills in comparison to you. All of this discussion so far has detailed talent after it has flourished. I want you to perform the following thought exercise with me. There is likely something you are talented at and have not found it yet. If you discovered an activity that you were talented at and you had the possibility to become the very best at it, would you drop all of your other hobbies to invest the required time, even if you weren't interested in that activity? I'll provide my thoughts while you ponder that question. I wouldn't. Let's suspend our disbelief for a moment and pretend I have an immense talent in gymnastics that I haven't discovered yet. While I have tremendous respect for gymnasts due to their combined flexibility and strength, it's not an activity that interests me. There are multiple ways to be fulfilled that don't require competition. I get a safe space to socialize and learn new skills at my current hobbies. Sacrificing those just because I may be talented at gymnastics is a terrible exchange. Such an exercise opens up the Pandora's box about wasted potential. If you decide not to pursue an activity you might be talented at, you're technically wasting your time. In the context of OS, there are people who have created an account, played for 30 minutes, and then uninstalled the game on the same day. Had they continued playing, they might have become the next Emrek. These people haven't made a mistake. They're not forced to play OS and realize their potential. And what's the value behind concerning yourself with a potential new perma-zoomer kid that could speed by you in the rankings? That doesn't make the game any more fun for you. Additionally, becoming the best at something doesn't guarantee you'll continue to enjoy it. People who have reached the top may feel like they're failing both themselves and their supporters if they lose their number 1 position. It can act as a prison, pressuring you into defending a temporary title. An alternative to that prison is indifference. They've reached the top, which leaves no reason to continue improving if that was their only goal. Both have happened in OS history, which is why some past top players have given up their number 1 without fighting for it. At the end of the day, yes, OS is a waste of time. Playing OS will not further your academics or career, and you're unlikely to make it to the top. However, not everything in life should be solemn. Time you enjoyed wasting is not wasted time. There is value in spending time participating in activities you enjoy, even if you're lackluster at them. OS is not a rat race for the top. It's a rhythm game where you may become a legend someday. Even if you only ever reach 5-digit, you can be the reason someone wants to play. There's enough to feel pessimistic about. Don't make your gameplay experience one of those things. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.